Guardian. 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 Ah! Ow. Greetings, Guardian Angel. My name is Lunarian Rose, and I seek your skills.
Hi. What skills are you talking about here?
Your skills with shedding light onto the unknown. You see, human, we Lunarians thrive on brilliance of jewels. But a gem cannot be brilliant unless more beings know of their existence.
To be honest, I see some flaws in your logic.
In order to bring more brilliance to the Jewel people, we need you to talk about their historical video files.
Jewel people? Oh, you mean the World of Gems anime, right? But that's not historical,
I have linked the different video files into your viewing device.
That's great, but we humans have the internet. I can just look it up.
I will also cast a spell that will turn you into a Jewel person. That way, the humans that are watching you through their viewing devices can see even more of the brilliance that radiates from fellow Jewel people.
Thanks, but no.
You must hurry, Guardian Angel. Not only does your life depend on it, but so does the survival of mine.
You're not listening to me, are you?
You only have a short time before the spell is permanent, and you will remain in that form for the rest of time.
Thanks, but no.
Good luck, human. You may need it.
Are you even listening to me? I said... Okay? What just happened? Oh, I'm a gem now. That's just marvelous.
I am made, and it's stronger than you.
Hello, everyone. Guardian Angel 181, and welcome to another episode of Lady Otaku Reviews. Now that I'm kind of stuck as a gem jewel person, I might as well just do a review about the anime that this person wants me to. Today I'm going to talk about Houseki no Kuni, or the World of Gems, or the Land of Illustrious. It kind of depends on what you want to call it, or what language you're speaking, or whatever. But I'm just going to call it its Japanese name, Houseki no Kuni. The Land of Illustrious is a series written and illustrated by Haruko Ichikawara back in 2012. This series is still ongoing in Japan, however they have created a 12-episode anime based off of it in 2017. This anime, unlike in more traditional style animes, was actually created using 3D methods. Which, even though I'm not a huge fan of 3D when it comes to anime, this show is one that I really enjoyed. So, what's it even about? It kind of looks like a Steven Universe, right? You'd be wrong. Here, let me show you. So, Houseki no Kuni takes place far, far into the future where humans are no longer alive. According to the show's mythology, the human race went back to the sea at least 4,000 years ago. Not only did they go to the sea, but they also separated into 3 separate beings: the flesh, the bone, and the soul. The series mainly focuses on the jeweled people, also known as the bone, and are the ones who mainly inhabit the land or the planet Earth. The Lunarians, such as our friend here, are considered what is left of the soul of the human race, while the flesh became the sea-dwelling admirable them. This information is not really prominent in the overall story of this series, but it does have more importance to understand why things the way they are, and also kind of help us how things are set up. It's always good to have background out. So, as I said, Houseki follows a group of immortal jeweled people, a total of 28 individuals who learn to protect their people from the Lunarians, who are hunting them in order to use their bodies as weapons or jewelry. The main protagonist of the series is Phospholiite, the youngest of the gem people and the most fragile. Of course, we're just going to call her Phos because Phospholiite is pretty long to say, and I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, to be honest. Of course, it doesn't help that she's a klutz. Honestly, I can relate to that. Welcome to another episode of Lady Otaku. Thanks, Editor. Foss is put in charge of creating an encyclopedia of new planet forms on Earth, which she does very begrudgingly. While working on the encyclopedia, Foss comes across another member of the Jewel clan, Cinnabar, a Jewel person whose Mo scale is lower than Foss, yet she's put on the night guard because of a poison her body secretes. This starts a chain of events that occur over the course of a year, including Foss losing all of her limbs and the Lunarians sending off their most horrible creature. Aww, they're so fluffy! Well, I won't get into too many details, but I will say that Houseki is definitely one of those coming-of-age stories that have been done a million times, but with a definitely new twist. Foss goes from being shy and adorable and fragile to someone who is more stoic, and he uses her limitations to succeed in combat. The twist is that the characters are made of non-living organisms, so the only way for a character to actually change is mainly to change their bodies. If you want to get deeper into it, this could also be an argument for nature versus nurture. Foss as a gem has a Mo hardness of 3. Now, for those non-science nerds there, this means that it's really soft, like scratched with a nail soft, or in this case, breaks often. She wanted to be a fighter in order to protect her beloved Kongo-sensei and fellow gems from the Lunarians. Because of this, after she had agate and gold mixed into her, she focused hard on becoming a fighter, but only after. Beforehand, she was just mainly tasked with creating an encyclopedia. This story could also be an argument for the classic Perseverance storyline. She got past her limitations and bettered herself, even though she was just fine before she forced her body modifications. There are probably a bunch more angles this show could take depending on your point of view and beliefs, but these are just a few that I could think of off the top of my head. So out of curiosity, viewers, what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments below. Well, we move on to the next category, the characters. So for characters, we have, of course, Foss, who I talked about before. Overall, she's kind of weird, but sweet. And then when she goes through her transformation, she is still caring, though she does develop a different way to show it. There's also Cinnabar, who is an outcast, but basically wants to be taken away by the Lunarians. In this world, that is akin to suicide, since the Lunarians basically have to break up the Jewel people in order to make them into weapons and jewelry. Foss wants to prevent that, and to do this, she's determined to find something only she and her poison can do. Like, out of all the characters in the show, she's the one I wish we could get to see more of, because she's really interesting. Cinnabar was smart and could fight, but she had a really sad and depressing past. Foss even used some of Cinnabar's technique with her gold later on in the story while she was fighting. To me, as a viewer, it kind of felt like Cinnabar's story was left to the wayside after the 3rd episode or so, when they had to dig Foss out of the snail shell after she got eaten. Yeah, that was the thing. It would have been cool to see her more during the events of the show, even something like her coming to see Foss after the winter hibernation. Another character that I actually really liked was Daya, a pure diamond. She's kind and sweet, but also a big sister in a way. However, she's more fragile than the other diamonds because of her cleavage. No, I don't mean her chest. You perverts. These characters are hermaphrodite, so they don't have those parts. Of course, that kind of does explain where mine went. Anyway, when I say cleavage, I mean in gems. Again, for those non-science people, the cleavage of a gem or mineral is where it tends to break on the lateral plane. Minerals with a lot of cleavage, like Foss or certain diamonds, tend to break easier because they have many locations where they can break. Because of this, Daya isn't allowed to fight very much, even though on a technicality she is really strong. There are other characters in the show, such as Bort, a fight-crazy person who protects Daya, or Jade, who's a bookkeeper for the mysterious Kongo-sensei, A mysterious man who we actually don't know a whole lot about other than the outside of his body is made of diamond. Rutile is the medic of the group and likes to experiment on the jewel people for her own curiosities, as well as to help her friend Paparacha, a gem who was formed incompletely. There's a pair of amethyst twins who I honestly expected to sound more like this.
Like someone's being a sore loser.
And Morganite, who reminds me a lot of Sierra Morihama from Princess 9. Another jewel person I wish got more screen time was Antarsite, a rare gem who, even though she is softer than Foss, she is the protector of them during the winter time. This is because during warmer months, her body is liquid. However, during the winter, her body is solid and is actually harder than it was before. She is also the main protector because, unlike the other gem people, she doesn't require a whole lot of sunlight to survive. So she's able to protect them a lot easier than the others, who would be struggling to stay awake. They're the one who helps Foss grow the most, so to speak, in this series, especially after she is shattered and taken to the moon. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's kind of like the idea that after your mentor passes away, you change as a person. There are a few more gem people, but none really stand out. That's actually one main complaint I have about the anime adaptation of this series. There are so many different characters to keep track of that it feels like there's no time really to get to know each and every one of them. I know there's a couple that are obsessed with fashion, which, come to think of it, how would they even know about clothes in the first place? Humans kinda went away about 4,000 years ago in this universe. There's also this one who, whenever she sees a Lunarian, she goes crazy and overly destructive. Because this series is still in production as a manga, I'm really hoping that they would give the other characters some time to shine, so to speak. Hey, pun. As I said before, this series is in 3D. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of these because most of the time the characters look odd. They tend to move stiffer than in a traditional anime by a sense, and generally I'm not a big fan of the generic art style used for it. However, it works here amazingly well. The 3D definitely gives the gem characters a bit of a shine to them that a 2D replication would have a hard time to replicate. With the 3D style, it also reminded me a lot of Ruby with its action scenes. There are a few times it looked rather stiff, but the shininess and the fact that they are actually made out of gems makes up for it. The Lunarians are also rather pretty and remind me of Buddhist or Indian images of royalty or goddesses, which kind of added a little extra to it because they were supposed to seem unreal. When they move, it almost seems like there's an eternal wind around them, which adds a really cool thing to see. There are times where the animation is odd, and other times it's quite beautiful. When it comes to music, it's about the same type of response. Sometimes it's good and gives off the correct tone for the scene, but other times it's actually quite forgettable. The beginning and ending songs for me are generic and nothing really to write home about. But that's okay, we're not here for the credits, right? So overall, I would give Houseki no Kuni, or The World of Gems, or Land Illustrious 3 shiny jewel shards out of 5. Its animation was quite pretty in many places, and the action is really good, but the story is still left unfinished as the manga is still going on. Hopefully there will be another season in the future to fill in those gaps, and to help fill out the world even more. I guess all we can do now is wait for that to happen. If a second season is made, I am more than happy to review it, and maybe even change the rating, who knows. Now where did that Lunarian chick go? I'd like to be turned back to a human now! She's not here. Great. Well, I guess that means I get to be a crystal gem now! Oh boy! I'm human again. Okay then. Well then, sign for now everybody. Please leave a like, a comment, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more anime or anime related content. I'm gonna go lie down.
My name is Your Fuck.
That's going in the
My name is Bumblefuck. of the Okay, I have to actually give myself a good groove for that.
Bubble fuck! Bubble fuck!
You only have a short time before the spell is permanent, and you will remain in that form for the rest of time. Not your life, but all of time. You will be buried that way, and it will be macabre, and you will become glorious flowers in the earth. Okay, just become like the bejeweled gems, and just be on like someone's shirt or someone's jeans, and you'll be on their ass.